Unleashing creativity and storytelling skills. That's what filmmakers are able to do and display with events such as the International Teaneck Film Festival. Joining us to talk more about this annual festival that starts November 13th is Jeremy Lentz, executive producer. Jeremy, welcome.
Thank you, Mabel. It's nice to be here.
Talk to us about this festival and who's going to be a part of it.
So, the Teaneck International Film Festival is a social justice film festival with a permanent theme of activism making change. We were founded in 2006 and are a project of the New Jersey Puffin Foundation, which is a national foundation that provides grant funding to artists who are marginalized based on their race, gender, religion, or social philosophy. And the festival fuses that with the unique history of Teaneck being the first township in the history of the United States that voted to voluntarily desegregate its school system. This year, our festival is running from November 13th to the 20th, and we are both hybrid and in person, showcasing 20 films in 7 days. And information regarding ticket sales, bios on the films, and trailers can all be found at teaneckfilmfestival.org.
The festival began in Teaneck, but it's international. Why was that the goal from the very beginning?
Because Teaneck is perhaps one of the most diverse states in the United States, and our community is extremely diverse. So we had to have an international film festival that could bring in films from all over the world and tell those stories. And we're just a stone's throw from Manhattan, so it made perfect sense for us to have an international film festival. This year, we have films that are being showcased from the United Kingdom, Lebanon, Nigeria, Israel, Switzerland, and Bolivia, along with many American features.
Are there specific themes?
Our theme is always activism making change, but within that theme, we're delving into deep topics. For example, we're talking about the maternal health crisis with our closing night film Aftershock. New Jersey is one of the states in the US that has the worst maternal death rates, with Black women dying at a significantly higher rate than white women. And the documentary, which was filmed by a Teaneck filmmaker, Paula Eizelt, and co-directed with Tanya Lewis Lee, explores that. In addition, we're focusing on uh, abortion in a post-Roe America with a free legacy screening of If These Walls Could Talk. That film was co-directed by Cher and Nancy Savoca. It stars Demi Moore, Sissy Spacek. Cher is also in it, and Jada Pinkett Smith. And it's going to be sponsored by the National Council of Jewish Women, who is currently celebrating their 100th anniversary. And the filmmaker will be there for the talkback along with representatives from Planned Parenthood and the National Council. We also have lighter fare. So there are films like comedies. We have a unique New Jersey feature called Julia Scotti, Funny That Way, about a senior citizen transgender comedian from New Jersey who makes it big on America's Got Talent. And it tells her unique story, which is really heartwarming. And certainly people will enjoy the stand up. And Julia is going to be there in person with the filmmaker, Susan Sandler, to discuss that film. So there's so much for everyone. I would encourage people to go to the website, look at the trailers, look at the films, see what sparks their interest, and buy tickets.
In addition to the films, you made some mention that there will be discussions that are taking place.
Right. All the films have a moderated panel discussion. So they all consist of a discussion with the filmmaker or whoever the guest is that is there, and an audience Q&A. And that also goes for our virtual film portion, which is done live in what we call our OV screening room. So after our virtual film concludes, it's the same thing. People go into a live Zoom chat, and they have the ability to utilize their chat features to type in questions, which are then answered in real time. So really unique. And I think, whether you're coming in from the comfort of your living room or coming out to Teaneck in person, you're going to be engaged, inspired, and hopefully entertained. You might laugh, you might cry, or maybe a little bit of both.
What are the biggest changes that you've seen from the beginning of this film festival through today? So we're talking about over a decade.
Over a decade, 17 years. There's been so many changes. I mean, the first major change was how filmmaking changed. When we started, we used to showcase our films on 35 millimeters. So if you remember the big canisters of actual film, they would weigh about 60 pounds and you'd have to splice them on a projector. That all ended about probably 10 years ago when the motion picture industry converted to digital. So now everything runs on a digital drive, similar to a hard drive on your computer. That was the biggest shift that we saw because all movie theaters had to convert to that format. And it took our theater quite a little while till we got a new owner who was able to make the investment. Then, of course, during COVID, we shifted again, and we were fortunate to have a national partnership with PBS, which enabled us to utilize a virtual platform during the COVID years called Ovi, which opened us up to the entire country. So in many ways, there was a definite silver lining to the pandemic because we were now able to reach a much, much wider audience and engage people across the country. And what we've been able to do is integrate that into our festival where we're still virtual for those people that are long distances away or can't get to Teaneck during November, but they can still come. So even though we're back in person now, we still offer that virtual component.
And when and where can individuals see these films?
Yeah, so starting on November 13th through the 15th, those are the virtual screening dates. And then starting on November 17th through the 20th, we will be in person at Teaneck Cinemas and at Temple Emeth here in Teaneck. So I would encourage everybody to go to the website. The schedule is there and look at the films, and you can click on the ticket link and buy for the films that you want to see.
And the website once again?
TeaneckFilmFestival.org. That's Teaneck, Teaneck, filmfestival.org.
Jeremy, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mabel, for having me. It's a pleasure.